It was a journey of pure, unimaginable endurance. For nearly 3 decades, one man has been on a quest to do what no one else in history ever has: to walk an unbroken path around the entire world. He has faced down the frozen wastelands of Siberia, a jungle infested with gorillas, and the brutal currents of the open sea, all without a single ride, a single ferry, or a single flight. And he did it all while sacrificing the very thing that mattered most to him. This is the story of Karl Bushby and his 36,000-mile walk home. At the dawn of the new millennium, Karl Bushby, a former British paratrooper, stood at the southern tip of South America in a town called Punta Arenas. He was a long way from home. The 36,000-mile journey back to his hometown of Hull, England, was a challenge he called the Goliath Expedition. The mission was governed by 2 simple yet unyielding rules. He would advance unassisted by any form of transport, and he would not go home until he arrived there on foot. It was a commitment so absolute, he said, it would feel like half his life had been a lie if he ever broke it. He began his walk in November 1998 with the simple goal of just doing it, but his reasons were complex. The journey started almost as a bad bet to prove something to his paratrooper mates, and in some ways, he was running from a difficult personal life, including a recent divorce. He flew to Chile with just $800 and a wheeled cart full of gear. He would soon learn that the road ahead would be far more than a physical test. From the start, the obstacles were immense. Early in his journey in northern Chile, he had a breakdown. He had been on the road long enough for it to feel like forever, yet he had barely scratched the surface. It was then that he learned to stop looking at the long picture and focus only on the day-to-day. His daily routine became a brutal exercise in simplicity and endurance. Wake up, pack his gear into his cart, walk 10 to 15 miles a day, eat what he could find, and camp where he fell. He learned to survive on the kindness of strangers, often sleeping on couches or in spare rooms. The loneliness, he would later admit, was a quiet constant, a shadow on even the sunniest days. But even that mindset was tested. Further north, he faced the notorious Darien Gap, a lawless, dense jungle between Panama and Colombia, where he had to sneak through a civil war. This no man's land was controlled by the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, or FARC, a Marxist guerrilla group. The air in the gap was thick with a humid heat and the constant hum of insects. Every step was a struggle through mud and undergrowth, all while navigating a terrain where the sounds of the jungle were often indistinguishable from the distant threat of gunfire. After successfully traversing the gap, Bushby was detained by Panamanian police on the other side of the border and spent 18 days in jail, entering the country through an unofficial route before being released. The challenges kept coming. In 2006, he and a fellow adventurer crossed the frozen 58-mile-wide Bering Strait. They battled unpredictable currents in temperatures as low as -40 degrees Fahrenheit, where exposed skin could freeze in minutes. They were forced to leap between bobbing ice floes that were constantly moving with the wind, and were even swept 52 miles north of their intended path by a massive ice sheet. This forced them to swim in an immersion suit between the shifting chunks of ice, risking hypothermia with every freezing plunge, just to avoid being taken even farther off course. They were ultimately detained by Russian authorities for not entering at an official port of entry. It was just the beginning of a bureaucratic nightmare that would cost him years of his life. He lost sponsors in the 2008 financial crisis, forcing him to take years off to work and fund the next leg of his journey. Then, a 5-year visa ban from Russia meant he had to walk an extra 3,500 miles just to appeal his case at an embassy. But the deepest price he paid was a personal one. When he began his journey, he left behind his 5-year-old son, Adam. He missed his childhood, his birthdays, and his milestones. As Adam grew up, he suffered from depression, and Karl admitted to bearing a lot of responsibility. He chose to exile himself, and as he said, he didn't know the guy. The pain of that decision became a constant internal crisis. In a powerful moment of reconnection, Adam, now a young man, walked with his father for a short time on a leg of the journey in the United States. It was a chance for them to finally talk and begin to know each other. The relationship remained a permanent, ongoing struggle, a sacrifice that no amount of miles could ever truly make up for. Despite it all, he never stopped. After years of fighting bureaucracy and physical exhaustion, he finally made it to Europe in 2024. Faced with the obstacle of crossing the Caspian Sea, and having previously been denied visas to Russia, he was now also unable to secure a visa for Iran, due to a new policy requiring all travellers from the United Kingdom to enter with a pre-arranged tour. He made a staggering decision: to swim. This grueling, multi-day ordeal covered 179 miles as he navigated the sea to maintain his unbroken flight, becoming the first person in history to cross the Caspian Sea in this way. He then walked through Turkey and into Bulgaria. Now, with less than 2,000 miles to go, he is on the final stretch of his pilgrimage home. What began as an ambitious dream in Chile has become a testament to human will. His military background prepared him for the physical challenge, but it was his will alone that sustained him through years of loneliness and setback. His journey has become his purpose, and he's admitted that at this point it would be harder to stop than to continue. When he finally arrives, he will have accomplished a feat that has defined his entire life, but he knows the end will be bittersweet. He never wavered, and his story serves as a reminder that what we are capable of is often far more than we believe. Some journeys never really end. They change us, strip us down, and reveal what we're made of. Karl Bushby's walk isn't just about reaching home. It's about finding what home really means. If you found this story inspiring, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, because some stories deserve to be remembered.